Hey Heartland family. Welcome back to Sugarbee, your cozy corner for all the drama, emotion, and unforgettable moments from your favorite shows. And today, we're diving into something you never saw coming. Borden is back. Yes, the man we thought was gone forever. Rides back into Heartland in Season 19, Episode 1, and his return changes everything. This isn't just a plot twist. It's a full-blown emotional earthquake, and we're breaking it all down. From Amy's jaw-dropping reaction and Lindy's tearful embrace, to Jack's quiet strength and Lou's fiery confrontation, this episode reminds us exactly why Heartland holds a place in our hearts. So grab a tissue, or 3, hit that like button, and let's unpack one of the most powerful moments in Heartland history, only here on Sugarbee. The episode opens with a quiet sense of stillness. We see the Heartland ranch bathed in the golden hues of morning, and everything seems off, like the air is holding its breath. Amy moves through her morning routine, but her eyes tell a story that words don't. She's holding on to something, perhaps a feeling, a memory, or maybe just a pain that's never fully healed. Jack watches her from a distance, sensing her melancholy. The show subtly hints that something big is coming. There's a kind of foreshadowing in the air. Birds fly low. The horses act restless. And the wind carries an eerie sense of something stirring. Suddenly, Amy stumbles upon a package in the barn, dusty, forgotten, and buried under old saddle blankets. Inside, it's Ty's old journal and a sealed letter addressed to her. Her hands tremble as she opens it. The words inside take her breath away. If you're reading this, it means I'm finally coming home. A wave of shock crashes over her. As she reads the explanation in Ty's letter, the truth spills out. Ty never truly died. Instead, he went underground to expose a dangerous group involved in wildlife trafficking, something that threatened both his life and his family's safety. He faked his death to protect them, a decision that tore him apart. Now, with the threat neutralized, he's making his way back. The stage is set for a return that redefines the very core of the show. The entire first act builds tension as Amy begins to see signs of familiar scent, footprints in the dirt, and then a silhouette on horseback at sunset. She turns, and there he is, Ty Borden, alive, home. When Amy first locks eyes with Ty, the world around her collapses. Time freezes. Her breath catches. She drops everything and stares eyes wide, lips trembling. The love of her life, the man she grieved, is riding toward her on horseback. As if no time has passed yet, everything has changed. Her knees buckle under the weight of disbelief. As Ty dismounts and slowly approaches, Amy doesn't move. It's as if her mind can't allow her heart to believe. For a full moment, she says nothing. She simply stares, her eyes welling with years of grief, longing, and shock. Then, as if gravity finally pulls her forward, she walks toward him. She touches his face, trying to confirm he's real. When her fingers feel his warmth, she breaks. Tears stream down her cheeks as she falls into his arms. There's no dramatic music, just the sound of her sobs and his whispered apologies. But it's not all relief. After the embrace, Amy pulls away, her grief turning into fury. "You let me think you were dead. You let me bury you," she says through clenched teeth, her voice shaking with hurt. Ty nods, unable to defend himself, only able to hold her gaze and say, "I had to protect you. You and Lindy." She doesn't forgive him immediately. Her pain is still fresh, her healing reopened. But even in her pain, she realizes something profound: love never left. And maybe, just maybe, this return is the second chance their family desperately needs. Lindy, now a bright and curious little girl, watches from the porch as her mother cries in a stranger's arms. She tilts her head, unsure of what's happening. When Amy calls her over gently and introduces the man beside her as your dad, Lindy looks up at Ty with wide, questioning eyes. There's no recognition. How could there be? She was just a toddler when he disappeared. But then something remarkable happens. Lindy walks up to him cautiously, studying his face. Ty kneels down, his eyes full of tears. "Hi, Lindy," he whispers. "I'm your daddy." Lindy blinks. Slowly, she reaches out to touch his cheek. There's a long pause, and then she wraps her tiny arms around him. "Daddy," she says softly, like the word was waiting inside her all this time. Ty clutches her, completely broken. The years he lost come crashing down. The little girl in his arms isn't a memory, she's real. And she's holding him like he was never gone. It's not a dramatic or loud moment. It's quiet, pure, and devastatingly emotional. And in that hug, the entire family sees something they hadn't dared hope for: the restoration of what was. Jack Bartlett has always been the soul of Heartland, the quiet compass guiding everyone through their storms. So when Ty Borden walks into the ranch alive, Jack's reaction isn't theatrical or loud. It's subtle but powerful. His weathered face doesn't change much, just a narrowing of his eyes. A slow breath, a deep stare that seems to take in not just Ty's presence, but the entire emotional weight of his return. Ty stands before him vulnerable, ashamed, and unsure. Almost like a boy again, facing the man who became his father. There's a long silence. Then Jack takes off his hat, steps forward, and embraces him without a word. It's a strong hug, firm, brief, but heavy with meaning. When they part, Jack looks at him and simply says, "Took you long enough." But in that short phrase lives years of worry, heartbreak, and quiet hope that maybe, somehow, this day would come. Later, Jack and Ty share a moment in the barn, away from the others. Jack doesn't speak much, as usual, but when he does, it's laced with the kind of wisdom only a man who's lived a full, hard life can offer. "You made a choice that none of us understood," he says. "You hurt, Amy. You missed Lindy's childhood, but you came back. And now you have to live with the choices and build something new. With honesty, with heart." Jack doesn't judge Ty. He guides him. His love has never been about words, but about showing up. And in welcoming Ty back, he does what he's always done best: silently anchor the family with strength, forgiveness, and quiet, unconditional love. Lou's reaction to Ty's return is a whirlwind of emotions, and none of them are simple. The moment she sees him standing beside Amy on the ranch porch, her breath leaves her body. Her eyes widen in disbelief. Her mouth drops slightly. And for several seconds, she cannot speak. Lou has always been the practical one, the one who needs facts, timelines, reasons. And here stands Ty, the brother-in-law she grieved for, mourned with Amy over, and swore to protect Lindy's legacy for. Her first instinct is fury, not the kind that burns, but the kind that trembles through your hands when your heart's been broken all over again. She pulls Ty aside, her voice low and tense, asking the questions no one else dares ask. How could you let us believe you were gone? How could you let her live with that pain for years? Ty doesn't defend. He accepts. And that disarms Lou more than anything else could. She storms off. But later that night, we see her sitting on Amy's bed, her shoulders sagging. "I'm angry," she admits. "But I'm also relieved he's here. And that means maybe, just maybe, there's still time to put the pieces back together." Over the next few days, Lou watches Ty closely, how he speaks to Lindy, how gently he supports Amy, how he never forces his presence, but is always there. Slowly, her anger gives way to cautious hope. She tells Peter during a phone call, "He made a terrible choice, but he did it out of love. And if we can't find a way to forgive love, then what are we even doing? Lou's journey with Ty isn't about forgetting the past. It's about reconciling it with the present and daring to believe that maybe, just maybe, healing is possible. George's reaction to Ty's return is perhaps the most grounded. She's not a child anymore. She's grown, emotionally matured, and seen firsthand how loss has reshaped the Heartland family. So when Ty reappears, she doesn't rush to him with tears or questions. Instead, she watches him quietly from the paddock, her expression unreadable. She remembers what Amy went through the late night crying, the moments of collapse, the strength Amy had to pull from nowhere to raise Lindy on her own. And Georgie, having once seen Ty as a brother, doesn't immediately trust what she sees. When they finally speak, it's Georgie who breaks the silence. "I don't know whether to hug you or punch you." Ty smiles, expecting that. "Do both," he replies. But she doesn't. Instead, she looks him dead in the eye. "If you ever hurt them again, I mean really hurt them, I won't forgive you. Amy may. Lindy may. But I won't." There's no venom in her voice, just strength. A protector's heart. Over the next few scenes, we see Georgie processing, remembering, and reflecting. But as the episode unfolds, she notices the quiet things: Ty brushing Lindy's hair, feeding the horses beside Amy, sitting silently next to Jack. These little moments begin to chip away at her defenses. One afternoon, while riding together, Georgie finally opens up to Amy. "I didn't want to admit it, but it feels like he never left. Like he's always been a part of us." And with that, she begins to forgive, not because she's forgotten the pain, but because her heart is big enough to recognize that love sometimes takes the long way home. Tim is, as always, the complicated one. His immediate reaction to Ty's return is filtered through sarcasm and grit. "Well, look who decided to crawl out of the grave," he says with that classic dry smirk. But behind the one-liners and gruffness is a heart that's been torn apart and stitched back together more times than he can count. He doesn't hug Ty right away. Instead, he gives him a rough pat on the shoulder and a stern look that says everything his pride won't let him speak. "You've got a lot to fix," Tim mutters, walking away. But alone in his trailer that night, we finally see. The cracks show. A photo of Ty, Amy, and Lindy sits on Tim's shelf. Tim picks it up, his hands shaking slightly. "You stupid kid," he says aloud, tears welling in his eyes. "You broke her heart. And mine too." The next morning, Ty finds Tim fixing a fence. He approaches hesitantly. Tim doesn't look up. "You back for good this time?" Ty nods. "Yeah." Tim pauses, finally looking him in the eye. "Then act like it. Don't disappear. Don't quit. Be the man she believes you still are." It's not a fatherly hug or a dramatic reunion. It's Tim's way of saying, "I missed you. I love you. Don't screw this up." And in that honesty, Tim proves once again that under his tough shell is one of the softest hearts in all of Heartland. It's nightfall. The sky above Heartland is vast and glittering with stars, casting silver light over the landscape. Amy and Ty sit side by side on the porch swing, wrapped in a shared blanket, just like they used to all those years ago. The silence between them is thick, but not uncomfortable. It's heavy with unspoken words, the kind only soulmates carry. Amy speaks first. "There were nights I couldn't breathe," she says, her voice barely above a whisper. "Nights where I woke up screaming your name. Where I had to tell Lindy stories about her father without knowing if you'd ever come back." Ty swallows hard, his eyes glistening. "I died every day without you. But I couldn't put you in danger. It killed me to leave, Amy. But I thought I was doing the right thing." Amy turns to him, tears now flowing freely. "We could have faced it together. We always did." Ty nods slowly. I know, and I'll regret that choice for the rest of my life. There's a long pause, filled only by the creak of the swing and the sounds of distant horses. Then Amy reaches for his hand, tentative at first, then firmer. I don't know if I can forget. I don't even know if I'm ready to forgive. But I know one thing, I never stopped loving you. Ty lets out a breath he's held for years. Neither did I. And that brings us to the end of this emotional roller coaster Heartland Season 19, Episode 1. Ty Borden is back, and with him comes a storm of love, heartbreak, and healing. Amy's world was torn open all over again. But in that pain, a door to something beautiful reopened the chance to rebuild. From Lindy's innocent embrace to Jack's silent strength, Lo's fire, George's fierce loyalty, and Tim's guarded love, every moment reminded us why Heartland isn't just a show. It's a part of who we are. But now the question is, what happens next? Can Amy truly forgive? Can't he prove he's back for good? And will this broken family finally find its way back to wholeness? We'll be right here following every twist, every tear, and every tender reunion. So if you felt the weight of this story, if it made you cry, hope, or simply remember why you love this series, then don't forget to like, subscribe to Sugarbee, and tap that notification bell so you never miss a single beat of Heartland's journey. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Were you as emotional as we were? What do you think comes next? Until then, stay strong, stay kind, and always believe that love will find its way home. Thanks for watching only on Sugarbee.